G'day legends, I hope you're all awesome. We're going to take a quick look at the new Tonocracy plugin today. This one brings component-based amp modeling and capture-based amp modeling together into one plugin. We're going to take a quick look at the main features in here. I'll give you a very brief overview of how the capture feature works at the end, but first I just want to show you some tones in here. So the main way this works, you've got a kind of traditional grid style layout on here that you can freely route different blocks on. So at the moment I have a capture that I made using the Tonocracy app of my Boogie Mark IV. I've got my free LTTV Mix 7 cab IR that you can grab from the video description. A little bit of ping pong delay. I've got a little bit of this guitar plate reverb, bit of a green screamer drive, a stomp chorus, an octave divider, and a gate in here. There are some extra utilities like a tuner. You've got a record function in here. I'm using the standalone app at the moment, so if I just want to record my playing while I'm sitting here, I can hit that over there, and then I can arrange all of this into presets. I've got a captures section over here. You can see my user captures. I'm using a pre-launch version of the app. The app will launch with a bunch of built-in captures. You've got your component-based amps over here, you know, the regular food groups you would expect, some kind of Marshall style stuff, some Fender and Vox style stuff, and some modern high gain options in there. We will hear some of those. You've got your effects section down here. What I find interesting with the reverbs is you can load in convolution reverbs. So you've got a bunch of built-in reverbs and the ability to load your own in there, which I'm not sure if there's many other guitar-based plugins that do that. Nevertheless, let's hear this boogie capture with my cab. I've got the guitar plate reverb on there, and I'll just bring in some other effects. This is a PRS DGT SE on the bridge humbucker. I'll let you hear some other captures that I made, but what I like is if I navigate to another block, for example, if I want to bring this drive in here, I've still got the controls for the capture on here. This is going to work the same for the amp models in here as well. So if I wanted to say dial in this green screamer with this capture that I've made, I can kick it in and I can kind of balance out the controls on the pedal model as well as the controls on the capture. So let's do that. I'll play around with the overall drive amount. As I bring this up on the drive block, I'll bring the gain down on the capture. Now, at the moment, the main focus seems to be on the amp modeling and the capture function in there. You know, you've only got 3 options for the drive in here. Plenty of reverbs, though, including a deluxe spring. We should hear some clean stuff in a second with that. Same thing for the modulation, the EQ, and the pitch in there. So what I'm going to do is swap out this capture for a different capture. I'll come over here to my user captures. Let's try a capture that I made of my Fender Deluxe reverb and just plop it straight in there. I'll go to the single coil mode on this guitar, and I can maybe pair it with a different factory cab or one of my own user cabs. Let's compare that to the deluxe reverb model in here, this 65 Lux. And I'll let you hear this. I'll let you hear maybe the Vox model in here, and I'll also play around with how they clean up with the guitar volume controls. So with the model, you can see you've got the kind of typical authentic style controls in here, but then you've got this extended section which gives you access to the output level and the speaker compression parameter. I kind of like cranking that speaker compression up for the edge of breakup stuff. So let's just hear where we're at. Now, since I've got all these built-in convolution-based reverbs, I might chuck a deluxe spring in front of that. And you can see how to insert things. It's just a drag and drop style thing on the grid, but I might remove this reverb at the end and replace it with, say, the large church reverb. So what I will do is just let you hear the amp. I'll bring the volume down a little bit on that. I'll go to the neck pickup tapped on this guitar, and we'll just hear the large church reverb in there. Most of the reverbs have controls for decay, mix, low and high cut. I like having a low cut on a reverb and really bringing it up. I'll bring the high cut down as well. Let's just hear the large church, and then I'll kick in some of that spring. Let's hear a few more of the factory amp models in here, then I'll play you a couple more of the captures that I made. I really like the Vox in here. I think I've just paired this one up with my own LTTV Mix 7 IR. Again, you can grab that one for free if you check the video description. I'm going to let you hear this, then I'll crank up the speaker compression because I think it works really, really well with the Vox style stuff. Let's hit the Plexi and see if it does Plexi things. You'll notice again the typical controls on here, and you've got speaker compression and output level available to you. We got to hear the Recto model. I'm going to kick a boost in front of it, but let's just hear it raw in drop D. It's nice having those staples represented as standalone component-based amp models where you can get in and just kind of tweak them the way you would with the real amps. But I think a lot of people are going to be attracted to this because of the capture functionality. I've only made 4 captures so far at the time of making this video, but I did make one of my Soldano Hot Rod 50 Plus, so I'll let you hear that. I also made a capture of my Synergy 800 module as well, which I can just swap in here. If I collapse these windows, I can come over to captures and you can see my user captures over here. So I'll let you hear the Soldano. Again, this is with my main free cabinet, and this is with the fat plate reverb in there. Let's just check it out and I'll let you hear the 800. The capture process is fairly straightforward and fairly similar to something like Tone X. There are some really nice quality of life aspects of this. There is the ability to either capture an amp with a load box, an amp with a cabinet, or a pedal, but there is built-in calibration that you can set up here so that you can get your audio interface and the Tonocracy app speaking to one another in the most optimal way, and that's going to be optimal for capturing. I feel like that's really going to be useful for people who are going to be using this to make commercial captures. The other aspect in here is once you go through and calibrate everything and capture your source, you can actually queue them up. So the neural network aspect of this, the training of the models happens on the Tonocracy cloud. And what you can do is just get something training and go back and capture something else, which I think is going to be really handy if you've got a particular amp that you want to capture at a bunch of different gain levels, or with different speaker cabs, or with different EQ setups on there. So rather than have to wait for the entire model to train, then do another capture, you can kind of do these things in parallel, which is a really, really nice feature. I was able to do those 4 captures in about 35 minutes. The reason being that I could set an amp up with a load box, get it dialed in, run the initial capture, get it training, and tear that down and grab another amp, rinse and repeat, and everything processed in parallel. So that's probably my favorite aspect of the capture feature on this particular app. And I think it's pretty unique having capturing, having the built-in amp modeling, and having convolution-based reverbs in a single plugin. Like I said earlier in the video, this is a pre-release version of the app that I'm using to make this video. I have been told it is going to launch with a bunch of commercial captures available in there, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they expand on this, because the effects section at the moment is fairly bare bones and lean. Having said that, I really like the workflow for capturing. So if you're looking for something to capture your own gear and have it where you don't just have to play the capture and then add a bunch of extra plugins, you can do that with the Tonocracy app. I'm pretty curious to see where they go with this. I will do a separate video going through the capture process in depth, but now I want to hear from all of you. What did you think of the tones I pulled in the video? What do you think of the capture function in here? And is this something that you're going to be trying out? Thanks so much for watching the video, and I'll see you all next time.